Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This has become sort of an annual thing with this deck. It's Skull Servants, as you can see. Last year we did Skull Servants. I haven't improved on it that much, so be warned, I've just fixed the extra deck a lot. Because back then I didn't really have many choices because I was getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh! In mid to late 2019 after like a 2-year break. So, anyway, let's get into the profile, shall we? Start off, you run free King of the Skull Servants. He's your boss monster. He can perform OTKs quite easily if you start off with a Uni Zombie, which we do run, spoiler alert. Anyway, more of the Skull Servants in general. We run triple of the OG Skull Servant. Just give me a sec. We run triple Skull Servant. It's just a name you need in the deck in order to play it properly. Then after that, we run free, the Lady in White. Sorry if I'm doing it like this, it's because I'm having some troubles with camera positioning at the moment. Next, we run triple, White Princess. As you can see. Then we run White Princess is a starter, I guess you could say. It's a name and a hand trap, as well as a starter. Because when it's normal special, you send White Prince to the graveyard. White Prince is your main and send. And it's a hand trap as it reduces monsters' attack with their own level / rank times 300. So pretty good for being down your opponent's boss monsters, you know? Then next, we run triple White Prince. That's the main send. When it's sent to the graveyard, you send a Skull Servant and Lady in White from your hand or deck to the graveyard, which is the most important part. But the second one also comes up when you're forced to go first, as Skull Servants usually want to go second because they can't make good boards usually because they don't really have many options other than to link climb or sit on BL's pass. It has a second effect where it banishes 2 Skull Servants. So in most of the Skull Servants in the graveyard, most of the white monsters counter Skull Servants. You can banish itself, or 2 copies of itself, or just 1 Lady in White and Skull Servant, or just 2 OG Skull Servants, and so on. Moving away from the Skull Servants, we move on to some starters. We run triple, Uni. Sorry about that. Uni's just the main starter of the deck. It allows you to send a White Prince from your hand or deck to the graveyard to start things off. Or Mizuki, which is your usual target. Talking about Mizuki, we run 2 Mizuki. It's just a free special summon. It allows you to bring out King if you use Uni to dump a, say, Mizuki in hand and dump a King from grave. Next, this is another Skull Servant, but it's a hand trap mainly. It's 2 White Mare. I only run out 2 rather than 3 because Skull Servant usually doesn't need that extra 1,000 boost. Plus, I only have 2. And you make up for it with a certain spell in the deck. Moving on to some one-offs. We play 1 Solitaire. I don't know about running men at 3 because that sort of clogs up your deck a lot. And Solitaire is easily outed by Ash. Another card that's outed by Ash but actually does something on board is Gozuki. Free special from hand and just basically a Uni Zombie but for only 1. Moving on spells. We play, since all our monsters except for Solitaire are dark, triple Allure. Except for Dark and White Princess. Forgot about her. Allure's just general search power. Draw power. Talk about next card's gonna be search power, but Allure's just amazing in this deck, like every other dark deck. This, I don't really see people run that much, considering you probably should. It's probably because the 2000 drawback, which is way off there. You probably should run this card, as it allows you to get a white mare or white prince from your deck to your hand if you control level 1, and most of your monsters are going to be level 1 because King of Skull Servants is level 1. So it allows you to get white mare, which can be a special summon from the banished, or just sends a banished to the graveyard, giving your king 2000 attack, or an extra 1000 another body on field. Next, because white prince banishes to summon a king from deck, and if we're forced to go first, we need to link climb a lot. We run triple burial from different dimension. Just get your cards back into the graveyard so you can spam white prince again. We're running some more tours. These are just draw cards with 2 Dark World Dealings. You don't want to Dark World Dealings until Dark World Dealings usually, because this deck is good with Dark World Dealings, don't get me wrong, because white prince sends, if it's discarded as well, as long as it's sent to grave, with Mizuki as well, so, and Gozuki actually. It's just, usually when I ran this at free, I'll use it constantly, or I'll get ashed, or I'll just draw into another one. And I've cut this down to 40 cards to record. I used to play a lot of, what's the name of the card? I used to play triple Dark World Dealings and some other card, I forget the name of it. But anyway, moving on to some one-offs. We have more search/draw power and card destruction. Like I said, white prince and Mizuki and Gozuki all activate when they sent, not destroyed. So card destruction is an easy way to trigger like 2 princes in hand. Another card that you want to activate first, this is a one-off, is Reasoning. You want to activate Reasoning first because most people won't call level 1. They usually call level 4, and then again, most of your monsters aren't level 4 except for Solitaire, Gozuki, and Mizuki. So most of your deck is level 3 and below, so Reasoning is a pretty good choice. Next, 1 for 1 to bring out a king on field. Pretty simple. And we play 1 Foolish Burial to send the prince. Sorry about that, Cam. Cam, you alright? Yep. Just fix you up a bit. Foolish Burial to send the prince or Mizuki and to just pop off. And we play 1 Dark Hole. I used to play Dark Hole at 3, but it bricked at 3. I was testing around with board-breaking cards to out-negates because there's a couple of Dragon Link players at my locals. One of them, who played in a Wollongong locals, is Ben Nolan, TCG. I guess I'll link his channel down below, even though he has like 10 times the 100, not 10 times, literally 100 times the amount of subscribers as me. He's on just over 1,000 and nearly breaking 1,100. So go check him out if you haven't heard of him. Anyway, let's get rid of these and go on to the extra deck. This extra deck isn't really good, so sorry if you're expecting like a big cutout. Anyway, we're going to start off with just some one-offs we have. The $1 hand for the XCs. $1 hand's just an easy way to reduce attack on your opponent's side of the field, while just making something generic to, I don't know, get rid of cards on your field. Say your opponent's playing Mystic Mine and so on. Moving on to some synchros. We play 1 BLs. Just most decks actually can't handle this now, because it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. So if its effect goes off and your opponent tries to, I don't know, savage it, they can't do anything about that. They can't Dragoon it. And whenever you take damage from attack involved in it. So if they do Dragoon something you control, you'll just gain 1,000 and yeah, you can out Dragoon them. It's just a weird card that people don't expect. Next, level 8 Synchro. All our syncs are level 8. We play Scarlight. Scarlight's an easy board breaker. And since it's a board breaker, most people are going to negate it. So if you're dealing with someone who's playing like 3 negates on board or something similar to that, it's just an easy way to bait those out. Then the 1 Omega. It's just a way to recycle your own cards during your opponent's turn, because most of your cards do banish themselves like Mizuki and Prince to dual effects. So that's why we run the free, return, and Omega also helps. Moving on to some links. We run 2, Link Rebo. Generic level 1 stuff. So if you brick on Prince, just summon Prince, Link Rebo, and then Prince will activate its effect, sending, and you're off to the rails. Next, Link 1. Amaraj, same thing with Prince, except this provides protection. Yeah, simple enough. Moving on to some Link 2s. We play 2, Vampire Sucker. It's just a good zombie Link, and you do recur quite often from the graveyard with Gozuki and Mezuki. So just having free draws is always nice. We play the 1, Underclock, since it's generic, and you can potentially tack over something large like your Grand Marju with Underclock. Because of King, use its effect to target King and the opponent's monster, and yeah, they lose like 10,000 attack. Next, another generic, Link 2, Akashic Magician. It just threatens any big guys on the field, like, what's the name of it? I don't remember, but it just threatens Link monsters and monsters in the main monster zones, because it bounces them back to hand. So it's an easy way to bait negation like the other cards as well. Moving on to some Link 4s. You play 1, Boral Sword. Your deck, weirdly enough, has the potential to OTK easily with or without King, because with Prince and a Uni-Zombie in hand, you can Link spam up to Link 4 quite easily, usually. That depends if they have a negate or not. If they do, you can usually land on BLs or something similar to that. Next, Borreload for problematic monsters like Dragoon. Since they can't be targeted, you just steal their stuff. Then we run 1, Appaloosa. Generic Link 4 that you can make heaps easily. I'm sort of deciding whether or not I want to include a lot of extenders in this deck, like Jack Buron, because they'll allow you to actually have a full Link combo and land on an access code probably. Since you can land on Link 4s quite easily, it's pretty probable. Last Link 4 is just generic Disruption with Abomination. You just need something like Abomination if you can't land on an Appaloosa, because this is generic just with a Link monster, while Appaloosa has to have different names. So that was it for the deck. Next week we're going back to Sealed Only, episode 3. Then after that, might have a surprise for you. Don't forget to remember and like and subscribe, because it'll help me a lot. Anyway, I'll see you next time then.